Hi guys, Mr. Jaeger here, and welcome to the last thing I'm going to be recording for 2023! Woo! So what exactly is this video? Well, this is an Epilogue / summarization of the chase for the Skyscale. This video is late. I'm going to have to try and figure out a way of getting stuff that I don't normally do to be done on my channel, because I've been very much procrastinating on some of the stuff. I tried script writing this at first, then I tried to freeform it, and looking back at the footage I was looking back at the footage I was originally looking at, I'm like, no, I need to redo this again. So this is going to be recorded far less freeform, but with memory and hindsight and video research in mind, and it's going to be done, and I'm going to get this fucker done before due course. So this is going to be a second monitor video. It's going to basically be me talking with muted gameplay in the background, so you guys can just hear this. I might try and put some music in the background or something, just so it's not just my voice. But you get where I'm coming from. It is not designed to do anything except explain what's happened, how my opinion and mindset towards Guild Wars has changed since I have calmed down and had the release of the other expansion to come out, as well as a kind of explanation and justification for why I was so pissed off. So going into, and to be fair, that series didn't even have that much views to begin with, but you know what, fuck it, I want to do this because it was something that I said I was going to do, and I'm fucking well going to do it. So here we fucking go. So to start the story off, the Skyscale, for anyone who's not played Guild Wars 2, is a pretty useful mount. In Guild Wars 2, you have a variety of different mounts. You've got the Raptor, which is basically sort of like a faster than sprint and has a decent front leap. You've got the Springer, which has the ability to jump up and down really high, giving you that higher elevation access. The Skimmer says what it does on the tin. It skims across arduous terrain or water, giving you that extra speed in various circumstances. The Jackal, I kind of feel, is a bit of the run to the litter. Its main benefit is that it can go through sand portals, which can be handy for quick traversal in various regions, but I don't see any, with the exception of a couple of things, it doesn't really benefit it too much. Now, all of these mounts, despite having, despite being unlocked throughout the story at different points, all still have a valid use. There's no one mount that overrides the other, which is a really useful feature, and one of the reasons why I personally feel that the mount system in Guild Wars 2 is probably the best mount system I've ever personally seen for an MMO RPG. So, going into that, the Skyscale has its benefit of being a flyable mount. It has a decent area AoE attack as well, but the main benefit is that it can fly. Now, up until then, the only sort of mount capable of doing anything remotely close to that is the Griffin, which is an optional mount that can glide. It can't fly, but it can glide quite a long way, and so it was something that a lot of players, found, and it is a very useful thing. Not just because when you're playing with your first main character, it gives you an extension of your abilities to do things and explore the terrain, but obviously it's unlocked for your account, which means, all of the mounts being unlocked for your account means that if you're playing with a new character, you have far more traversal capacity than you would when you previously would when playing through the first time. So going into the quest, going for the chase for the Skyscale quest, the reason why this particular series was even around to begin with was because upon the release of the Skyscale mount, the only way you could get the thing was through a very painful, very horrible collection quest. So, Editor Jaeger, plink! This is the website Meta Battle, which is slightly off topic, really good for if you're wanting to have builds as well as learning different bits of gear sets and rotations. So if you're a fan of Guild Wars 2, unsponsored, but if you like that kind of stuff, it's a good website. I've used it, it's been beneficial, but still. This particular screen, which is scrolling down a bit, is all the requirements and the things you need to do to get the fucking thing. It is fucking painful. I'll also provide links to the description down below so you can investigate for yourself all the nitty-gritty details in that respect. And yeah, it is bad. It is very bad. There are like 2 or 3 sections where you're just repeating the same sodding thing. And the process is basically a more involved version of when you had to raise the story count dragon, which I said in the previous attempt at recording, and now I can't remember the damn thing's name. I'm just going to have to call it Dragon Blue. So when you had to raise Dragon Blue in Heart of Thorns, it was a nice, enjoyable little thing, and I'm sure someone got that in their heads of, yeah, let's do that again, even more tedious. So you could see there's in the link or from the video description, there's a lot of things you have to do. Now, the reason why this collection quest in particular was considered, well, why it was so long, was there was a rumor mill talking about the fact that this might be the last hurrah from ArenaNet. This was released on episode 6, Living World Season 4, and it was a pretty fucking epic episode. It was a lot of things being potentially wrapped up into what would have been the last hurrah for Guild Wars 2. Now, obviously, hindsight being 2020, we know now that wasn't the case, but still there was a rumor mill going about to say that it was, and they wanted to make, you know, the last hurrah, the big sort of oomph was to make this particular quest a bit of a fucking chain of to do. And as a result, a large portion of players just simply went nope, myself included, when it first came out, because it seemed like a lot of aggro for while it is a very beneficial gift, you know, it was not that much of a desire. I didn't have that intense desire to get it. It was an optional thing. I wanted to play through the story. I didn't need the Skyscale to progress into other things, so I kind of put it off to one side. And that was the only way, by the way, you could get the Skyscale. Up until recently, that was the only way you could get that thing. And so for a number of years, I played through Guild Wars, I played with new characters, I'd done some other stuff. You know, I'd done my own thing and, you know, enjoyed the game, but then I kind of kept seeing other players with Skyscales, I kept seeing other things with it, and I'm like, you know, I was wanting to I was thinking maybe it should be time that I should do that, because I was doing YouTube for it, and I was, you know, I was recording the series, I was doing the live Let's Play of catching up through the Living World Season 4 to 5, and then doing the Ice Brood saga. So all of these things I was playing through that I hadn't played through since like COVID, I was really getting excited for. So I thought, you know what, let's fucking go. Let's fucking do this. And so I decided, you know what, let's go for it. Let's go for the thing. Let's go for the quest, and let's push through. So I, you know, go on the website, we go through all the different challenges and all the different things, and, you know, I do my diligence. I make, you know, we do a lot of stuff and a number of episodes, and by like the 5th and 6th episode, however, you know, I'm optimistic at first, but then as we go through until like the 4th or 5th episode, I'm starting to bitch and moan about it because it just feels a bit tedious at that point. I'm like, can we just give me, you know, just give me the fucking Skyscale already? I've done all of this stupid shit. I'm now having to, you know, I'm having to run around raising the fucking thing, to like, I'm having to wait a day, defeat the damn thing. Or I'm having to run around in a zone, like a fetch quest. And to be fair, if any of you guys are Final Fantasy 14 veterans, and I'm talking more than a few years, if you may recall the After Realm Reborn after story, so Realm Reborn after story, before they changed it, oh, it was that but worse. Legit. It was that but worse. Like, I didn't find it after Realm Reborn, so the Realm Reborn after story to be the worst, but it was definitely the low point in the particular chain. It was a fucking chore, and it was definitely when I heard that they were changing that, I was like, I am so fucking happy for anyone else who comes into this game. But yeah, so so it was tedious. You were going from point to point, doing stupid shit, or gathering up materials, or using this particular thing. There was only one stage I could skip with money. Throughout the entire process, I could not do anything else but this one fucking stage. And I think it was around near the end, when I was trying to find the damn thing when it flies off and escapes, that I could bloody skip with cash. And I'm not going to lie, I fucking did. I immediately yeeted a majority of the gold that I'd gained through selling other materials to get to that point. But unfortunately, I hadn't realized the materials that you needed to get further through the playthrough. Because unfortunately, and I sold the materials I needed to make the fucking saddle at one stage, and I didn't realize this until like I reached that stage, because I sold the materials months ago, and then it was like months before I'd even decided to go for it, and then I'm thinking to myself, shit, And I'll hold my hands up. That was my own fault because I hadn't realized the significance of the materials. I saw how much they were available for on the market, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting so much gold because I'd previously not been able to. I'm not really great at earning gold in that game, so like that was for another project. Which great news, the project was successful. But with regards to getting my shit sorted, yeah, it just meant that I had a few additional episodes of pain and suffering, which did not help the grind. So on the 6th episode, near the end, I'm in a conversation with a player, and I'm asking him genuinely, like, do you feel it's worth it? Because I know being able to fly is useful, but it just does not at this point seem like it's worth it. And and he basically said, do you want to know something funny? And I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah, they're streamlining the quest for the Skyscale in the next expansion. And I went, are you fucking kidding me? You are fucking joking, right? I'm in the last stage to getting the fucking Skyscale, and now you're telling me that they're streamlining it? All of this effort and aggravation that I have gone through to get the ability to fly, I could have just ignored and waited a week or a month. And yeah, so after that, I think I did it during the stream or after the stream, but I was pissed, to say the least. And what made the thing worse, and I will agree, did not voice this very well. I was very much not doing, I will hold my hands up and say, not my most mature of moments, but I will say this. I was pissed off because when you see, because they basically, ArenaNet made the announcement that in the latest expansion, Secrets of the Obscure, they were going to be streamlining the ability, the process for you to unlock the Skyscale. So you could unlock it for like a fifth of the effort that you would need to get. And in the announcement, which again, links down below in the description, you can see there's basically a segment talking about how you can get the Skyscale and then you unlock the collection quest to be able to earn an insectoid-style skin for it. And then they mentioned, very briefly, about all the players who had gotten the Skyscale up to that point. And all they really gave the players up to that point is a couple of additional benefits to their masteries. Now, to quickly explain masteries, basically it was their way of allowing players to still level up even though they reach the max rank, where you unlock unique benefits or abilities once you've reached mastery level X1, once you've reached the mastery level requirement for that, and then you spend mastery points, which you either find scattered around the world or you get them for rewards for completing missions or for raids or in fractals or anything like that. You get the ability to do shit like that. So for me, I was, so for the Skyscale, you basically, in addition to having the Skyscale, you would get the ability to have an extra bonus. So if you're, gotten the Skyscale before, you'd have the ability to get an extra bonus of a slightly bigger jump or like a bit more freeform jump, and the ability to like maybe use ley lines, which you'd not common on the map. But that's it. That's it. No skin, nothing special, just a little benefit. And to be fair, I do not know, and I'm going to go with that. I'm going to hopefully go with this is a passive bonus to everyone even if you don't own the expansion. But basically, I don't know if you need to own the expansion and actually go through the collection system beforehand to be able to get that. So we'll go into this a bit later, but to say I've not played that expansion, obviously, so I don't know if the benefits to veteran players needs to have that game to be active and us to reach the point in the story where you unlock the Skyscale in the streamlined version to be able to reach. So yeah, so I felt like that was a slap to the face. Now normally I'm not the kind of player who likes to show off. I do not like players, or I do not like the mindset around the gold AK, the gold weapons, the gold uniform. You see it on Modern Warfare. I'm talking old school, by the way. Modern Warfare 1. God, I can't believe I have to say that. 2007 Modern Warfare, where you've got like a golden AK, a golden deagle, flashy kind of like gold. Some asshole, really, who just shows off. I'm not like that. I do not personally find that to be a thing. The only time Where I will say I'd like to have some visual representation of something is when a player has done something rather monumentous, i.e., a pretty fucking hard achievement, or or has been with a particular thing for a very long time and is rewarded with his own or her own personal little thing, a symbol to show, hey, you were there at this point. Good examples of this is in Division 2, the first team to complete the big raid in the airport. They had their photo taken, and it's now all available to see across the whole board. They were the ones who did it first, sort of thing. Or in Guild Wars 2 logic, it is something like the ability to keep your name from the first game. If you played the first game for a long period of time, like reached a certain point, you get the ability to unlock armors, you get the ability to unlock equipment. You get to have a visual display of your veteran status. And it's something that, I personally feel is a nice nod to both the player and the company to say, look, we respect and thank you for your time on this particular thing. And I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't think it would have been too much to ask for ArenaNet to them to say, in addition to to Masteries, for anyone who's unlocked the Skyscale, we've got a unique skin which is all available to people who unlocked it before this time period. So, anyone who basically makes the account from this point on and doesn't have the Skyscale doesn't get the skin. Because it's a mark to show, hey, this is something cool. This is something that the player has gone through a rather tedious quest chain in order to unlock this thing, and now that you can get it simplified, there is, if you want to get that thing, brilliant, you can get it, but if not, then you don't really deserve it. And so it's a visual identifier to say, I got this thing the way, the painful way. And I realize that some of you may think that's gatekeeping, that's toxic, and whatever, and I'm just going to say, I think you should be rewarded for what work you give. It's no different to you working a job and then someone else getting paid more for doing less. That just, to me, sounds a bit like, yeah. So, my personal aggravation, on that position, it was that, and I felt very angry about that. I'm happy, to be fair, going into the thing that, they've actually finally streamlined it, which is a good thing, but I was pissed off at the time because it was just so much effort had gone into this already, and now I had to just contend with the fact that, yeah, you might as well not have bothered. So, there's me standing there looking, completely just fucking done. I almost rage quit the series, to be fair. I was very close to rage quitting the series at that point. But I thought, you know what? No, I'm a stubborn bastard. I'm going to get this thing before the fucking expansion comes out, and then I'm going to quit the game and never play it again. Because it was just like, I got it before you did. I don't know what logic was there. It was more of a middle finger thing. Like, it was supposed to be, I just wanted to ruin someone's day, where someone would think, oh, congratulations, and then I'd turn around and be like, fuck you! And ruin their moment, making them thinking themselves happy, when really it's like, no, you didn't do good with this one. I got the stinking thing, but I'm not gonna treat you nicely for it, sort of thing. Again, it was my own little version of a middle finger. So anyway, going back to the main subject at hand, I, of course, get to the end stage. I get to the point where I finally get the fucking mount, and I make the announcement that I'm gonna be, putting a middle finger to this game and throwing it to the side and saying, fuck you, ArenaNet. You've burnt me, a customer. You don't do this shit. You can't ever do this to your customers, whatever. That's not fair, and I was very, 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 very salty, and I was very, very pissed off. So, I got the worm with wings, and I then finished the series. And so the intention was I was going to make a very vocal and visible display, and I would upload a video and post it onto the Arena forum nets in what I thought would be my own little middle finger triumphantness of, making them go, oh no, we've done a bad and we should really be feeling bad for ourselves, and sort of bullshit. When you're pissed off, you think some really stupid shit. It's almost like you're being drunk. You think doing something will get some kind of vindictive triumph out of it, even if it doesn't accomplish anything. You yourself feel better. Basically, you're beating your chest and making a loud noise in public. Sure, you feel great for 2 seconds whilst everyone stares at you and wonders what's going on, but really all you're doing is you're proving that, the amygdala still is part of our ancestral brain tissue that still affects our modern day decisions. So I go onto the forums and I make a post talking, vocalizing my displeasure at the lack of decency or the lack of quality of a decision being made to basically of the Skyscale. And this particular post got a lot of comments. And I was later to find out not the best place to make a complaint, because there's a lot of people who will. They're not super fans. It's not like quite Total War levels of like hatred towards anyone or Creative Assembly levels of hatred towards anyone who shows dissent, but it is like along the lines of people who will just not really understand and just call you being out for stuff like that. And there were a lot of people who just said I was toxic, I was gatekeeping, I was being elitist, I was being very, I was feeling very privileged and whatever. And I had some, I was having a bit of an argument on the internet, with people like that. And yeah, again, just your personal, I would be curious to hear what your thoughts are. Some people may agree with my mindset, some people may not. But going into, later down the line, there was one particular comment and poster who was like, you know what, upon reflection of all the points you made, he may have he may actually have a point. It doesn't actually sound like what he's describing. It doesn't actually sound like a decent, gift for anyone who wants to use the Skyscale. It kind of does feel a bit pointless. Anyway, so, I love that, man. I was like, thank you! It was one of the few people who were like, you either, other than saying, don't feel disheartened, you've got it, well done. Apart from that, he was one of the few people who were like objectively being nice to me, to trying to sort of be like, yeah, no, you have a point. So going over to the release of the Secrets of the Obscure, and I'm gonna go to the actual store page on the 31st of December 2023. To be fair, there's more stuff coming through now. I think they're expanding the thing, because the Secrets of the Obscure expansion, it was, I think it's a new style of content for them. It's a new, the way that they are releasing it. But unfortunately, it's not actually done that great. It's still listed as mixed, and a lot of players say that it's, kind of boring, it's not very good. There are things, I've not played it, so I'm not going to take their word for it, but, there's definitely a lacking in there's definitely a lack when it comes to, there's a lacking in comparison to previous expansions. There's definitely a lack of that, which, depending on where you are talking about it, depending on what your personal preferences are, I personally am slightly smug, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, I don't know, so I'd have to get it, which is very unlikely, to see what the actual fuss was. So, the expansion is released, and, I've gotten them out, and before the expansion was released, though, I didn't actually uninstall Guild Wars 2. Well, actually, no, I did, but then I rapidly reinstalled it and played for like a few hours to unlock all of the masteries for the Skyscale, because my interpretation was, well, hang on a second, maybe, because at the time I didn't know if the Secrets of the Obscure expansion would only give the mastery bonuses to people who had already fully unlocked the masteries of the Skyscale. So I erred on the side of caution and fully maxed out the Skyscale, and found myself enjoying the game again, though I think it was more of a honeymoon period, because it wasn't just me having to complete the fucking Skyscale quest. It was not me having to do something in order to get the Eternal Ice Shards, for example, which, the moment I say that, a flare in my gut of just, kind of comes through. But suffice it to say, I got the Skyscale, and I didn't feel happy about it. Like, I've got the footage from it, and I think I'm going to keep the footage when I got the Skyscale. But, I wasn't a happy bunny. I was very much not a happy bunny. And so, after I got the Skyscale, I enjoyed the game for a slight honeymoon period, and even got into playing Fractals a bit, because I'd gotten the masteries, and I was just enjoying the fact that I wasn't playing that fucking mode. So, time goes by, and eventually I do lose interest in playing the game, and I do finally go, you know what, I'm done for a while. And I then sort of get a note when I go to the forum post to see if there was any more activity after most of it had died down. I get a notification to say that someone had mentioned me in a post, and someone had actually shared one of my posts in a post, and I'm like, what the hell? So I go to the post, which I send in the description, and I find that someone had basically made a post in the forum saying the Skyscale mount doesn't make any sense to anyone who already has the Skyscale. Like the Skyscale streamlining doesn't make any sense, in the Secrets of the Obscure unless you've got the Skyscale, if you already have the Skyscale. And so the post basically talks about the fact that when you go into the Secrets of the Obscure game, minus spoilers for anyone who doesn't want to watch it, but basically you reach a point in the story where you can obviously unlock the Skyscale, and apparently, which I assumed that ArenaNet would make this decision as a natural byproduct, but no, they don't. When you go up to the person who, when you go to originally unlock your Skyscale, instead of saying, oh, look, you're without a Skyscale, we need to fix that, they'll go, oh, you already have a Skyscale. Well, you need to you need to get it for someone else then. And it's like, what? So yeah, legitimately, 100%, you do not, you go through the same streamlined process, regardless of whether or not you actually have the Skyscale, but instead, you unlock it for someone else. What? Just, what? Really? And like, someone, he just said, I don't really feel like that's fair on the player to, have to get someone else's, I don't think it's fair on the player to have to, to get something for someone else. That doesn't really sit right with me. And I'm sitting there like, are you joking? Like, really? And so, I actually get that point, and I'm like, are you fucking for real? And I couldn't laugh. I couldn't stop laughing and smiling because someone basically, oh, don't tell me they've gotten rid of that post. No! I've just gotten onto the fucking thing when I'm recording it, and the bastards deleted it. I should have bloody, have they deleted it? Have they just deleted the pages now? Oh, wow, some people reacted to it as well. But no, oh, that sucks if that's the case, because I would be very fucking upset if that's now gone. Oh, damn it, my vindication proof is gone. I should have recorded it. But no, so basically he made the post saying, yeah, this doesn't really make too much sense. Why would someone have to go through all this shit? And the other person was just like, yeah, no, I can totally, I totally sympathize. There's actually a guy who got, a guy who made a post talking about this, and he got, and he actually had a point. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my god. But yeah, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm really disappointed now. I didn't realize that guy would have deleted that. That's really irritating. But no, I know. I fucking know. But yeah, the whole experience, a lot of players now, a lot of people will say that it is just, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm disappointed. I can't believe they got, it's a shame I can't show that now. That's really fucking disappointing. But I also feel like, all I will say is this then, to sort of, because we're almost coming up to half an hour now, and I'm coming up to the point where I probably should really finish the video off. So, the release of the expansion has proven not to be the most successful thing ArenaNet has done, and the decision-making capacity is also not the most intelligent thing ArenaNet has done. And so, as a result, I would say I'm 50% justified in my anger towards ArenaNet, because they did, in fact, do a dumb and basically reduce they basically made going through the collection quest before going through the streamline one a bit pointless, because you know, they haven't streamlined the quest chain. You still have to go through the quest collection series in order to get the fucking mount. So, to go through all of that strain for what is essentially, you could do completely, if you decided to get the expansion pack and get that fucking Skyscale mount, you would be better off probably doing it that way, because the effort that you would have to go through and the gold you have to waste to get that fucking mount in comparison to what you could have to do in comparison to the old collection quest is like night and day difference. So, there's no point going for the fucking collection quest now. That is essentially a lost cause, because if you're a completionist, that's probably something you could do. But I would very much not recommend it, because it's one of the worst things ArenaNet have done in terms of tedious, pointless, outright stupid logic and obnoxious design in terms of things. So to wrap this video up, now to sort of talk about the future. So I will be playing Guild Wars 2 in 2024. I will be making a little series on the side to sort of complete the episode 1 Living World seasons, and then of course I'm completing the I'd be completing the End of Dragons expansion, because my family member bought it for me as a Christmas present 2 years ago now, and I kind of feel bad. So rather than rather than doing anything, rather than not doing it out of my own personal self-pride, I'm like, no, I owe it to them to finish the game. I owe it to them to buying that stuff. So obviously, I'm going to do it. I'm going to complete it, and we're going to sort of wrap things up for that one. What I will do after that, I'm very not sure. I mean, to summarize the whole experience in a nutshell, I used to love Guild Wars 2, and now I don't. I used to think Guild Wars 2 was a game that could do no wrong, that the developers and the player base and everything, it used to be one of the good games that I didn't have any particular faults or flaws. It's got an incredible story, it's got a fun, and especially with the Living World, if you get all the Living World stories, it makes the game a great and wonderful experience with some fantastic, epic moments, and it has a lot of things that a lot of players can do. But since this particular quest chain, I don't love it as much anymore. It's permanently stung me, and it's permanently pissed me off to the point where I cannot honestly say I'm going to buy the last DLC or the latest content unless it's heavily discounted. Like, someone would have to buy it for me in practicality for me to actually play the damn thing. Like, that is how much I don't like the game now. And it's something that I've just been like, I'm just not that fussed about it. When I got the Worm with Wings, and that's the name I'm giving it now, it's not the Skyscale, it's the Worm with Wings. Every time I get it out, every time I got it out, it just constantly reminds me of all the pain and anguish and frustration and annoyance I got just to get the fucking thing. And then it just reminds me, and the reason why I don't want to buy the fucking Secrets of the Obscure is because if I do play that bit, and then there's a bit where I can get the Skyscale, I'm probably not going to play that bit, because I'll be still pissed off from what they did. So, no. Once I've completed the End of Dragons expansion, I'm probably not likely to play Guild Wars 2 for a very long time after that. Depending on how I feel, that may change. There's always a point where things can change, but I honestly it's instinctive. It's in my gut. I will remember this. I will remember the badness, timing. I will remember the shitty quest chain, but more importantly, I will remember the lack of care to the veteran players who have gone through this shit and have not been given anything in return. I got a fair amount of veteran players in the forum posts saying like, well, I got the bloody Skyscale and I've had it for years and I don't see any problem with it. I was okay, it wasn't a hard grind. And it's like, do you see how you defeat your own argument within the same fucking sentence? I haven't, fuckwit! You know? So, yeah. It's... No, I can't... I look at Guild Wars 2, and I can't honestly say I love this game anymore. I just... No. It's a game I find a lot of fun. You know, I used to love this game, and that's it now. I used to. And it's a fun game. It's enjoyable, and I can have some... You know, if I have friends who I'm playing with it, it's good, but... that's just it. So... It's a bit of a mishmash, I will agree. It's a bit of it's a weird kind of juxtaposition and whatnot. But what I will say is that to anyone who's not played Guild Wars 2, play it. It's a fun game. You'll enjoy it. You'll have good stories. There's great characters and gameplay. You'll have some fantastic story moments and even moments where you could even cry. You will feel the world and it will be great. But I've been stung. I've been punched. I've been kicked. I've been slapped. And I didn't get any kind of recognition for it. And I am pissed off because of that. It's just, it was shitty, you know, and that's all I can say. So, to round off a slight downer video, I will say this. Once I've done this, I said, once I've done it, we'll see how things fare. I'm hopeful that if I play through the End of Dragons expansion, some good will come of it, but we'll see. We will see. Anyway, thank you all so very much for listening to this video. I realize this is going to be a bit of a weird hodgepodge slight video, and probably no one will even watch this video. But if you did get to this point, thank you so much for watching. And if you like this kind of content, probably not Guild Wars content, I'll mind you, but other bits of content, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next year. Happy 2024. Fuck's sake. But also, debate. I want to hear some debate. I want to hear people's opinions on this. Did you feel the same? Did you feel any kind of resentment towards ArenaNet when they made this decision? Because I am very curious to see whether or not people share in these opinions, or whether it's just something that I personally am just making a hark on because reasons. Anyway, I'll see you then. This is Mr. Jaeger, signing out.